Welcome back, boys and girls, to Truth Fairy Tidbits. I am the Truth Fairy, and I am here to give you tidbits of information from some sources that several years ago helped me to deprogram from my statist mindset, among other things that I used to believe in that I don't anymore. And my hopes here with this channel is to spoon feed you little bits of information that you would otherwise probably not look at on your own if you still believe in government and things of that sort. So go back to the beginning of my videos and start from there if you want any of this to really make any sense. Or you can watch from here and be slightly more confused and probably more offended. Not my problem. Up to you. Okay, continuing on. In our book, The Most Dangerous Superstition by Larkin Rose, and how government doesn't really exist, authority doesn't exist, and it all only really exists in your mind like Santa Claus. It's all a belief system, it's a religion, it's a superstition, it's insanity. So my hope is that you will realize that, and we need more people like that to wake up. All right, here we go. Quickly today. To expect the master to serve the slave, to expect power to be used solely for the benefit of the one being controlled, not the one in control, is ridiculous. What makes it even more insane is that statists claim that appointing rulers is the only way to overcome the imperfections and untrustworthiness of man. Statists look out at a world full of strangers who have questionable motives and dubious morality, and they are afraid that some of those people might do something. That in and of itself is perfectly reasonable concern. But then, as protection against what some of those people might do, the statists advocate giving some of those same people of questionable virtue a huge amount of power and societal permission to rule over everyone else in the vain hope that by some miracle, those people will happen to decide to use their newfound power only for good. In other words, the statist looks at his fellow man and thinks, I do not trust you to be my neighbor, but I do trust you to be my master. Bizarrely, almost every statist admits that politicians are more dishonest, corrupt, conniving, and selfish than most people, but still insist that civilization can exist only if those particularly untrustworthy people are given both the power and the right to forcibly control everyone else. Believers in government truly believe that the only thing that can keep them safe from the flaws of human nature is taking some of those flawed humans, some of the most flawed in fact, and appointing them as gods with the right to dominate all of mankind in the absurd hope that given such tremendous power, such people will use it only for good. And the fact that has never happened in the history of the world does not stop statists from insisting that it needs to happen to ensure peaceful civilization. My dog's in here being a brat. Another way to look at it is that statists worry that different people have different beliefs, different viewpoints, different standards of morality. They express concerns such as, what if there was no government and someone thinks it's okay to kill me and steal my stuff? Yes, if there are conflicting views, as there always have been and always will be, it can lead to conflict. The authoritarian solution is that instead of everyone deciding for himself what is right and what he should do, that there should be a central authority that will make one set of rules that will be enforced upon everyone. Statists obviously hope that the authority will issue and enforce the right rules, but they never explain how or why this would happen, since the edicts of government are written by mere human beings, usually exceptionally power-hungry, corrupt human beings. Why should anyone expect their rules to be better than the rules each individual would choose for himself? Yet statists talk as if government will be fair, reasonable, and rational in situations where individuals would not be. Again, this demonstrates that believers in government imagine authority to have superhuman virtues that should be trusted above the virtues of mere mortals. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Girl, out. Okay, hold on. I made notes again because I feel that does help me from not going on a complete rant. The belief here that we need government to save us from bad people. So we put the worst of the population into this group called government. So yes, without a group made up of usually the most corrupt and evil and psychopathic humans called government, the rest of us would automatically snap into some wild animal and just start slaughtering each other. Okay, that's actually what statists picture. Okay, and there's a reason for that. You're programmed to think that. That's why people think that anarchy means chaos. It's part of the programming. The Hollywood, government, school, indoctrination camps, whatever. They teach you that. Like every movie you've ever seen, it depicts anarchy as chaos and people running wild. But if you really think about it, you already live your life, for the most part, all of us do, in a cooperative, voluntary interaction manner on your daily life. Until you run into anything that has to do with government. But aside from that, you go to work, you go shopping, you go to the grocery store, you go out to dinner, you go to the movies, you do whatever, you go hang out with your friends. Millions of people do that every single day, interacting voluntarily with each other, cooperating, not just, stabbing somebody in the face for no apparent reason. You already do that, all right? But people think that the reason they do that is because this thing called government exists. So just think about this honestly for yourself. If tomorrow morning you woke up and the news says, you know what, this entire thing called government is abolished, there's no such thing. Okay, would you automatically jump up, run across the street to your neighbor's house and rob them, rape them, murder them, just fucking go buck wild? That would be your natural reaction if government suddenly just ceased to exist? No? I'm guessing not. Okay, so if I asked 1 million or 1 billion or more individuals that same question, they would all say, well, no. I mean, there might be some psychos that would be like, hell yeah, I would. Reality, they probably wouldn't, because if you're truly psycho, laws and government aren't going to stop you from doing those things. And that's pretty evident because the people in government do those things on a constant basis. It doesn't apply. They don't care that there's supposedly these set of rules that you're not supposed to hurt people. But the average person, so if I ask 1 billion people and each individual one says no, I wouldn't just automatically start killing everybody and robbing and raping and pillaging and everything. If government suddenly didn't exist, I wouldn't do that. Says every single individual person. And yet, every person thinks that they themselves are moral, rational, cooperative human beings. But somehow we all think that we're the only ones and that everybody else can't be trusted to act morally and rationally and cooperative. And there's a reason that we think that, and it's the same reason that you think anarchy means chaos. It's because we're indoctrinated and programmed to believe that we are helpless, stupid, wild animals without this thing called government keeping us in line. Okay, so just ponder that for a few minutes. Like, if every person I ask says that, well, I'm moral and I'm rational and I'm cooperative and I wouldn't just rob people and hurt people for no reason, everybody would say that for themselves. Why is it that you think that you're the only one who knows how to live their life without hurting other people? Everybody thinks that they're the one that can do that, but nobody thinks that anybody else can do it. And this is how they keep you in the program of this thing called government being a necessity, because your neighbor could potentially be a bad guy and hurt you. So let's pick a group of other bad guys and put them in charge of everybody and make them control everybody, which still doesn't stop them from being bad guys. Like I said, criminals, true criminals that want to hurt people, don't give a fuck if the law says that they're not supposed to do that. They don't care. They're going to do it anyway. When you realize that there's a lot less of those mentally unstable psychopathic people, and they're all in DC, most of them. There's a lot less of those people than you're programmed to believe, and that's the reason that you're programmed to believe it. They pit everybody against everybody. They want you to fear your neighbor. They want you to fear black people or Mexicans or whatever other religions. They want you to fear them, and so that you beg for this thing called government to keep you safe from the bad guys that they've convinced you are bad guys. Okay? And it goes across all the religions, all the cultures, all the rest of the world. Billions of people are just trying to live their life. They're not hurting anybody. They don't want to hurt anybody. The people that are hurting people are governments who are forcing other programmed people with guns to go murder, slaughter innocent people because they've convinced you that they want to do something bad to you and that they're evil. It's a lot of programming. It's all a belief system. And I think that's enough for today. So that's your daily dose of wake the fuck up. Start to use your brain. Be intellectually honest and really ponder these questions and the rational irrationalness of believing all this stuff. Because somehow you think that you're rational and moral and cooperative and you're a decent human being, but nobody else is. It's just you. So anyways, that's enough for today. Come here. Come here. She's been sitting here staring at me. Come here. So come say hi. We haven't seen her in a minute. Are you going to tell him? Are you going to tell him? Do not comply. Do not comply. Do not comply. Bye.